Hi everyone, how are you? I'm just gonna check my mic real quick. Give me 1 second. This is why we start a little bit early. Give me just 2 seconds.
Cool. I think that should be working correctly now. I don't think my headphones were plugged in just then, but I think we should be all good. If you're having any trouble hearing me, and if it's not all good, please let me know in the chat box. I'll be sure to check that out. But I just wanted to start a tiny little bit early today, and that's because we have a lot of advertisers registered for this webinar. And yeah, I just wanted to say hi to everyone, say good afternoon. For anyone that hasn't taken a webinar with me before, really exciting to have you here. My name is Bianca, and I'm an advertising specialist here at Amazon, of course. And yeah, it's just about 2 o'clock. So for everyone who joined early or on time, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And yeah, for the next couple of minutes, what we're going to do is just run through a tiny little bit of housekeeping, just to get started and kind of get the session flowing today. So first thing is first, as I just kind of mentioned, my name's Bianca. I'm really excited to have you all here, and I just wanted to let everyone know that you will be receiving the slides from today and also the recording from today, as well as a list of our upcoming webinars, actually. And that should be with you in an email from me before the end of the day today. So don't worry, you'll be able to have the recording, be able to watch it back as often and whenever you like. And yeah, you'll be able to review all the material really at your leisure. So, no stress in terms of like frantically trying to take down notes or anything. Of course, feel free to do that if it's going to help you learn, but you will be getting the slides and the recording. So I really just wanted to make sure that everyone knows that, everyone's on the same page. And before we get started with today's presentation, today's webinar is all about optimizing and expanding your targeting strategies. The first few things I'm going to do really quick, we're going to launch, let me check how many, 3 poll questions. So I know it's just a minute past, so I want to kind of just get these out of the way, and then we can get really into the session today. So it should be popping up on your screen now. And just to kind of to make sure that everyone knows that there's no pressure here, these polls, there's no right or wrong answer. It's really just about learning where everyone's at, how everyone is feeling about their advertising journey in terms of their comfort level, their knowledge level, skill level, that sort of thing. So no worries, there's no right or wrong answer. I'm going to let you guys just read that through and get those votes in. So the first question, or poll rather, on your screens now is, what type of Amazon account do you have? Pretty straightforward. Hopefully you know what kind of advertising account that you have, but if not, no worries at all. We can walk through a little bit of eligibility at some point if it's relevant later today. We also do cover a lot of eligibility requirements in most of our beginner level webinars too. So if you haven't joined those yet, definitely come along. Almost everyone's voted on this, so I'm gonna just give it 5 more seconds. And then we'll launch poll question number 2. Cool. Just in case you're interested, it looks like I would say almost half of you guys on the line today are sellers enrolled in brand registry. That's awesome news, because we are going to cover a little bit about sponsored brands in this webinar too. And then super close proportion are sellers not enrolled in brand registry. No problem, because we do cover sponsored products. A lot of KDP authors on the line, so same there. And then we've got a couple of vendors on the line too, so that's perfect. Okay, cool. I can see almost everyone's voted. I'm going to go ahead and close out of this first poll. And here comes poll number 2, which is, what kind of targeting are you using in your campaigns right now, i.e., manual keyword, manual product, or automatic targeting? Again, no right answers, guys. I'll let you guys just get those votes in. And actually, while everyone who has been with me since the start of today is doing that, I'm just going to reintroduce myself, because quite a few advertisers have joined since we started doing this poll. So I'll let you guys get your votes in. And then for everyone who is just joining us today, hi, welcome. So happy to have you here. I'm Bianca. I'm an advertising specialist here at Amazon, as I've told everyone already. And what we're doing is just launching 2 super quick poll questions before we get started. So don't worry, you haven't missed anything yet, but you will be receiving the slides and the recording in an email by the end of the day. So cool. Now everyone's caught up on housekeeping. I'm going to give this poll 5 more seconds, and then we'll move to poll number 3, last poll, and then we'll get right into it. Okay, awesome. This one's getting closed, and this one's getting closed now. And we're launching one last poll, which is, are you using negative targeting in your campaigns? If you don't know what negative targeting is, not a huge issue. I will cover that a little bit today. But actually, while you guys get these responses in, I am going to take this opportunity to let you all know a little bit about the format today. So this is an intermediate level webinar. It's definitely covering a little bit more of an intermediate topic. So if you're super beginner, just getting started, this might not be the webinar for you. Feel free to stay on and just hang out with us if you'd like for the next hour. But we do have a basic kind of beginner level targeting webinar as well. So just to note that everyone on this call, I'm pretty sure, knows this is an intermediate targeting webinar. And just to manage expectations, it'll last roughly an hour with a Q&A session as well. So if you haven't already gotten started asking any questions, go ahead and use your question box for that. And at the end of the presentation, we'll run through a live Q&A all together and yeah, hopefully get through as many questions as we can. Cool, I'm closing this poll, and without further ado, guys, let's get started. Let me just reshare my screen, 2 seconds. Cool. So very quick agenda. We're going to kind of do a little recap of strategic targeting. We're going to talk about structuring your campaigns and then optimizing them, of course, and we'll do takeaways before that Q&A too. Just a note, today we're going to focus on sponsored brands and sponsored products. So if you're more interested in sponsored display, make sure that you're eligible, first of all. So you have to be a vendor or a seller enrolled in brand registry. And then you can follow up by joining our sponsored display webinar, which is just a separate session. Cool. So let's look first and foremost at what targeting options to consider for each of your strategic goals and how you want to structure your campaigns. Okay, this is so important. Oh, sorry, I just hit my mic. This is so important and something that I don't know if everybody knows, but one of the best tips that I can possibly give you in terms of getting your advertising as high performing as it can be is set up your targeting methods according to your strategies and your goals. So let's think about your objectives, right? On the screen right now, this is what we're going to run through. So as a seller, you might be looking, or a vendor, you might be looking to protect your brands, to protect your brand equity and increase loyalty with your customers. You might want to expand into a different category or marketplace. You might want to amplify your reach and have your brand impact more shoppers. You may want to support a product launch. You might want to cross-sell when customers see one of your products to give them visibility into your whole portfolio. You might want to just promote deals and coupons so that they get traction, or you might want to learn about the performance of specific campaigns or creatives. So lots of goals there. Not every advertiser will have the same goal, and you might not have all of these goals. And in fact, it's okay if you only have one of these goals, but certainly you will have goals when it comes to your advertising, right? So when you're creating your campaigns, define your main objective for that campaign or for that strategy, and that's going to help you choose your targeting method. So we'll walk through an example of this on the next slide. Cool. So this slide is an example of 4 different strategies that are in that top kind of blue row, let's say. Those are 4 different strategies that are helping us achieve each of the goals underneath each of those strategies. So let's walk through them. First up, we're using campaigns that are targeting branded keywords and branded ASINs, which are keywords that contain the name of your brand or the name of the ASIN that you're owning or advertising. Those are really useful if your strategies and your goals goals are to protect your brand equity, to cross-sell across your portfolio, or to launch a new product, right? So that's how we've grouped our goals, and those branded keywords and ASINs are the strategy that we're using to achieve those goals that we've grouped together. Next strategy is to use generic keywords and categories. So actually, just to note for anyone who's not aware of the difference between generic and branded keywords are keywords. Let's pretend we're selling chocolate. Branded keywords are keywords like Cadbury, Hershey's, Lindt, Kit Kats, Toblerone. You know, those are all keywords that contain a brand name, right? Or maybe a product name from one of those brands. So Kit Kat Chunky, you know, Hershey's Kisses, those are also branded keywords. Generic keywords are not the same thing. Generic keywords are keywords that relate very loosely to the product, that are kind of more broad, right? They're giving you broader traffic and attracting kind of a broader base of shoppers. So if we're selling chocolate, an example of a branded keyword, an example of a generic keyword is chocolate, chocolate bar, milk chocolate, dark chocolate, chocolate wafer, things that don't contain a brand name or product name. And that's a really important difference there. So back to our example in column number 2, right? We're using the strategy of generic keywords and categories to expand our reach and promote any deals or coupons we might have running. Column 3, this strategy is all about using other brands' keywords and other brands' products as targeting methods. And that strategy is going to help us achieve our goals of reaching new customers and also promoting any deals or coupons that we have, right? And then last column, column 4, our strategy here, or you know, the main kind of use case of our campaigns is automatic targeting. And our goals when we're using that strategy of automatic targeting are to learn what keywords or what products are working for us to target, and then to launch a new product maybe that we just released, for example. So again, this slide, it doesn't have to be, you know, your strategy word for word. It's just an example that shows you how to really think about grouping together your campaigns and your strategies based on the goals that you want to achieve as an advertiser. Super important. Cool. Here's another example of how you could structure your campaigns based on those different ad solutions, as well as targeting methods and campaign goals. So you would start with the ad solution you want to use to help achieve your goals. For example, sponsored products might be really great if I want to increase sales for a particular ASIN. And then sponsored brands is a really great option if I want to gain visibility and brand recognition, right? So think about what your goals are, remember, and then you're going to pick the targeting tactics depending on those goals and group those tactics together in a campaign. So remember, again, this slide is not like a golden rule for what to do. It's really more about just getting you guys thinking, okay, what are my goals? How can I support those goals based on strategies, on campaign strategies? And then how can I pick targeting methods that will feed into those strategies, right? It's really, you know, at this level, at this intermediate level and even advanced, we're talking about getting more granular with your targeting methods. So aligning your targeting to your strategy is so important, and so is knowing how to structure targeting within your campaigns to help you achieve the best possible results. A good campaign structure can really help you understand how to allocate your budget more effectively, because you're going to be able to test keywords and products and then prioritize those that are performing best. So let's look at that in a little bit of detail. Cool. This is just a practical example of how to implement that in your campaigns, right? So always start by identifying the right ASINs for each of your strategies, like we've just seen. So in the same way that you want to define your goals and define your strategies and define your targeting methods, you also want to define the right ASINs for those strategies, the right ASINs that correspond to those goals. So if your strategy is to launch a new product, for example, if your goal is all about launching a new product, then obviously the ASIN that you want to select or identify is the ASIN of the product that you're launching, right? So there's coherence there. So you want to make sure that you're selecting products with a really, really solid product detail page so that they can help drive your main objectives. Actually, I'm going to pause here quickly. And on this note, we have a webinar which is called Strong Foundation, Strong Ads. And I really, really, really recommend that webinar to all of you. It's essentially an entire session that's dedicated to understanding whether or not your product detail pages are optimized for sales. Oftentimes we get questions from advertisers that are like, oh, you know, I have 30,000 impressions, all these clicks, but no sales, what's wrong? Sometimes it can be that your product detail page actually hasn't been optimized, and that will really harm the performance of your campaigns. So while we're talking about identifying the right ASIN for your campaigns, I also want to say, you know, really think about making sure those ASINs have optimized product detail pages. And to support you in that, we have our Strong Foundation, Strong Ads webinar. But we're going to forge right ahead. Let me just check you guys out in the question box and make sure that you're all okay. Yeah, cool. All right. Anyway, so what we want to do after we've identified those correct ASINs is create a holistic approach. And that means that we want to use sponsored products, sponsored brands, and stores, and even sponsored display, hint, hint, together, right? We want to have all different types of campaigns and solutions running in a way that's going to allow us to learn more about what targeting to use in each of those individual campaigns and solutions. So this is a nice little animation of using all three or four of those solutions together, depending on what you're eligible for. So for example, sponsored brands is great for visibility, stores is excellent to reach and re-engage customers, and then sponsored products is wonderful to drive discoverability. That's just one example of a really holistic strategy. Cool. And then once you've decided on what mixture of campaign types or solutions you're going to use, you want to define what targeting tactic you're going to use to drive your overall strategy. You will be able to test and learn by using them together or separately until you understand what works for your brand and what doesn't. And this can be different for every advertiser, and it can even be different for every season, right? It might change over time. So we'll walk through some examples now of what else you need to pay attention to when you're structuring the targeting of your campaigns. All right, so for the next few slides, we're all going to go on a little trip to a fantasy land where we're all part of this brand, and the brand is called Kitchen Smart. Okay, so let's just pretend that we're all part of Kitchen Smart, and it's a completely fictitious brand, by the way. This is not a real brand. And we're going to think about how we're using different solutions to drive sales for different coffee machines and coffee accessories that we sell as Kitchen Smart, right? So example number one, right now in this example, our first goal is to protect our brand by using branded keywords and products. So we're going to run a sponsored product and sponsored brand both sponsored product and sponsored brands keyword campaigns. And remember, we're going to focus on our strategy of branded keywords, right? So we're targeting keywords that include our own brand name, like Kitchen Smart coffee machine, Kitchen Smart espresso machine. You get the gist. And that's going to help us to defend those branded terms and also increase our visibility. We're also going to run sponsored products product targeting campaigns where we target products that are complementary from our own brand, i.e. products that are complementary that we also sell as Kitchen Smart, right? So for example, if in this ad campaign, we're promoting our Kitchen Smart A100 coffee machine, if that's a product that we're advertising, then in this product targeting campaign, we're going to manually target our own Kitchen Smart coffee capsules to drive, to cross-sell across our own portfolio. And that's going to help us get more visibility while making sure our own products are being promoted. So if you're getting confused, no worries. Just think about it. It's this simple. In row one, that's one strategy, which is we're using branded terms in our keyword targeted sponsored brands and sponsored products campaigns. Strategy 2 on this slide is to use our own brand's complementary ASINs in sponsored product targeting campaigns. And our goal at the very top is to protect our brand, right? So those are our two different strategies that are supporting that goal. And on the next page, we're gonna have a different goal. So now our goal is to expand. Maybe that's expand into a new category, expand our reach, expand our business. Our goal is just simply to expand here. So we as Kitchen Smart are trying to gain new customers, expand our reach. And the first strategy that we're gonna make use of is a sponsored products and sponsored brands combination, focusing on manual keyword targeting that is going to be all about high traffic category search terms, right? So that means in our first strategy to support our goal, we're using keywords like coffee maker or espresso maker, those super generic keywords that we were talking about earlier to help our ad get shown in this case. At the same time, to achieve that same goal at the very top of expanding, we can use sponsored brands to target non-branded keywords and to drive customers to a more brand-centric destination, which is our store on Amazon, right? Remember, to have a store, you need to either be a vendor or a seller enrolled in brand registry. Just a little side note. And then the last thing that we can also do here is use manual product targeting on sponsored products and sponsored brands campaigns to be able to refine our targeting by category and product. So if you're not sure how to do this, just flag that for me in the Q&A box on your screen. We'll maybe live demo this in the Q&A at the end, but you can, when you're doing product targeting, refine by product and category. So it's that simple. That's strategy number 3. So remember, here we've got 3 strategies to promote our goal, which is expanding. Another example, pardon me, we've got, let's say we want to reach more customers and of course increase awareness about our product, right? So in this case, what we're going to do is advertise our best-selling ASINs using sponsored products and sponsored brands campaigns, using both manual keyword and manual product targeting. And the other strategy that we're going to use to support our goal is to drive traffic from sponsored brands to our store, which we have set up. For keyword targeting, we might want to be using we might want to be using the strategy of targeting other brands' keywords. That's why in strategy 1, in that first row, you'll see our keywords are other brand name coffee maker, other brand name espresso maker, etc. And then similarly, the products that we're targeting in our product targeting campaign are going to be similar coffee makers or similar products from other brands. So because our goal here is to increase our reach and reach new customers and gain awareness, what we're doing is using sponsored products and sponsored brands and stores campaigns and targeting other brands' names, right? But this is all happening under the bucket of the goal of increasing our reach. All right, let's say our goal is to launch a new product. Perfect. We can support that with advertising as well. Oh, excuse me. Let me just go back one. Cool. In this case, what we're going to do is use an automatic sponsor about keywords and products are performing best. And then we're going to download our search term report. That's really important for optimization for our automatic campaigns. After we download our search term report, we'll be using those high performing keywords in manual targeting campaigns later down the line to give us more granular control over performance. And because our goal is to drive the launch of that new product, we can also run product targeting campaigns that are focused on the ASIN that we're launching. And we do that by targeting complementary products, like, for example, coffee capsules from our own brand. The other thing that I'll say here is if you are launching a new product and if you do have a store set up, it's a really good idea to link your sponsored brands campaigns to a specific store page that's set up to really showcase that new launch. So just a note again, but we do have sponsored brands and store webinars that will help you kind of get a little bit more detail in terms of using those two solutions together. Anyway, the last thing that we're going to do to support our goal of launching that new product is monitoring our campaigns and then adjusting our bids across the exact phrase and broad match types. So remember that adjusting your bids and editing your bids depending on how each match type is performing is going to help you control your costs, right? As well as negative targeting too. Again, if you're unfamiliar with any of these terms, just throw that in the Q&A box. We'll get to that at the end of the session, and hopefully we can do a little bit of live demo too. Cool. In this example, let's say that our goal is to cross-sell. So these are the strategies that we're grouping together under that goal. Okay, we could actually, hold on, let me just check the Q&A box and make sure that everyone's all good. Okay, sweet. Sounds like everyone's doing well. I know that these slides are a little bit lengthy, but the goal here is really just to show you that you might have a lot of different objectives. Certainly, as you progress, in your advertising journey and you become more and more advanced, I guarantee you will start coming up with new objectives, new goals, new things that you didn't even think were possible for your brand to start achieving based on how well your ads are performing and how you're optimizing them. So really just bear with me. We're almost done with this portion of the presentation and then we'll get into some good stuff after. But for the purposes of today, let's say that we as Kitchen Smart want to cross-sell across our portfolio. No problem. We can use, again, a mix of sponsored products and sponsored brands campaigns, product targeting and keyword targeting. And right here, remember, we're using our own products and our own branded keywords to cross-sell across our portfolio, right, to support that goal of cross-selling. Cool. I think this is the second to last example, which is promoting deals and coupons, vouchers, et cetera, all that good time-bound clearance sort of stuff. We might want to launch a deals campaign 1 week before the deals go live to kind of generate awareness about it. And again, you can use a mix of manual targeting, product and keyword. And we also would want to really make sure that any creative elements that we have running in our sponsored brands campaigns or in our store perhaps are highlighting those deals and promotions, right? So again, just think about how you're supporting your goals based on the strategies that you've laid out for each of those goals. Last goal is we want to learn about our advertising performance. So what we're going to do is, this is so key and actually so basic, and a lot of people forget about this. We want to use automatic targeting with sponsored products to learn what keywords and products work best with our campaigns, right? And those are what we're going to target in future manual campaigns. This is also extremely basic, but extremely important. We want to use all 3 match types when we're starting out with new products, new campaigns, to identify which match types for each keyword are going to support our goals and which match types are performing for us, right? So a note on this, because I think it's super important and not enough people like really understand how crucial this is. When you're starting a new campaign or when you're adding new keywords to an existing campaign, add your keywords in all 3 match types in that one campaign. Why do we want to do this? Because let's say let's pretend we're coffee machines. So let's say the keyword coffee machine, of course it has 3 match types, right? But actually after 2 weeks of running our ads, the keyword coffee machine might perform really well in the broad match type, but it might perform really poorly for our brand and for our ad in the exact match type. But we won't know that unless we've added all 3 match types for that keyword in our one campaign, right? Or in as many campaigns as we have running, it's up to you. But super important, if you are trying to learn, if you're trying to generate insights, get more familiar and understand really important advertising concepts, use all 3 match types when you're adding keywords. I guarantee it will make a difference. But we're going to forge on. So now you understand more about targeting and how to structure your campaigns. Remember, based on your goals. Let's look at optimizing these campaigns. So we're going to talk a little about analysis and optimization. So a couple of common scenarios advertisers face. Okay, maybe we're not getting many impressions, right? Maybe we're getting no impressions or low impressions. No problem. A couple things you can do here. And remember, impressions is the number of times your ad was shown to shoppers. So a couple things we can do to increase impressions, hopefully. Try to increase your budget. This is the first port of call. This will generally help. And if you can't do that upfront, i.e. if you can't simply increase your campaign budget, what you might want to do is reallocate budget from lower performing campaigns. So find a campaign that's like really not doing well for you, really not doing it for you. Maybe pause it or decrease the budget on that campaign and take the money that you've just saved by decreasing its budget and reallocate it to a higher performing campaign to see if it can maybe get more impressions for you. Also, definitely try using dynamic bidding up and down for your campaigns, and also using a placement bid adjustment, placement bid multipliers or placement bid adjustments. Same thing. Again, if you're confused about what that is, do just pop that in the Q&A box. I'll be sure to call that out for you guys. Those are really, really important. So dynamic bidding up and down and custom bid multipliers are going to kind of zhuzh up your campaign, right? And maybe even get you more impressions and sales. And just a quick note on dynamic bidding, because that's really important. Dynamic bidding down only means that you're in any auction where you're less likely to convert to a sale, Amazon will decrease your bid automatically by up to 100%. Now with dynamic bidding up and down, which is maybe what you do want to apply if you have low impressions, Amazon will do that, but it will also increase your bid by up to 100% in any auction where you're more likely to convert to a sale. So what dynamic bidding does, and also what placement bids do, is allow you to optimize for sales while being, in control of your spend. So make use of those two options. And then in terms of your actual targeting method, again, make sure you're using all three match types, broad, phrase, exact. Increase your bids on any keywords in match types or any products you're targeting that are performing really well. Raise your bids on those to the higher end of the suggested bid range. Finally, you want to check your search term report to see if there are any other keywords and products that you've missed out that you might be able to use going forward in manual targeting campaigns. Cool. Scenario number 2, not getting many clicks. No problem. We can, take a couple of steps to optimize for clicks. So the first thing we want to try is adjusting bids by placement on any placements that you've seen are performing better for you, i.e. on any placements that have a higher click-through rate or, more impressions, that sort of thing. So if you don't know how to figure that out, you want to download your placement reports. Again, throw this in the Q&A box if that doesn't make sense to you, but your placement reports are going to show you how your ads performed in each placement. So top of the search results, product detail page, or rest of search, right? And if you're not getting clicks, try playing around with your bid adjustments to see if you can get clicks in different placements that you're optimizing for. If you're running sponsored brands campaigns, make sure to edit your creatives to include your brand logo and really high quality images of your products. Another thing you can do is A/B test your sponsored brands creatives against previous versions and see which versions of your sponsored brands creative elements are going to perform for you, and then go with those, right? In terms of your targeting, if you're not getting clicks, try using phrase and or the exact match type. So maybe you're only targeting the broad match type in one of your campaigns. Try adding in phrase and exact. That might help with your click-through rate. And then you also want to find any keywords or products that are performing well, i.e. keywords and products with a low ACoS and a high ROAS. And what you want to do to optimize is increase your bid on those high performing relevant keywords and products to the higher end of the suggested bid range. Again, that's really going to help you win those impressions that hopefully translate to clicks and then sales. Everyone's favorite, let's say you want to lower your ACoS. A question Sophie and I get a lot in our webinars, completely understandably. It's a very important metric. For anyone who's not aware or who forgot, ACoS stands for advertising cost of sales, and this is your total spend divided by your attributed sales in your campaigns. So to lower your ACoS, a couple things you can try. Make sure that you're driving traffic from your sponsored brands campaigns to your store. That means link your sponsored brands campaigns directly to your store instead of, for example, a detail page or a landing page. Link your SB campaigns to a store. The other thing that I would add here that isn't on this slide, but a tip that I really highly recommend anyway. On a campaign level, if you're trying to lower your ACoS, use dynamic bidding down only. So I'll say that again because it's so important. If you're trying to reduce your ACoS and kind of get a little bit more control over your ad spend, try setting your bidding strategy to dynamic bids down only. Remember, that means that Amazon will automatically decrease your bid when you're not likely to convert to a sale. So definitely set dynamic bids to down only. And then in terms of your targeting, again, make double sure you're using phrase or exact match types. And then for any keywords or products that you find that have a lower ACoS, increase your bid on those because those are performing well. So you really want to make sure that you're giving yourself the best shot at winning the impression for those keywords or products that are high performing, and make sure that those are added as exact match types if you haven't already done so. You really want to make sure that keywords and products that perform well for you have an increased bid and an exact match type. Vice versa, for any keywords and products that have a really high ACoS and like aren't performing well at all, feel free to pause those or lower your bids on them. You could even add them as negative targets if you feel that they are irrelevant to your brand or really not driving any relevant traffic for you. So I certainly recommend doing that. Last thing I would say, remember we talked a little bit earlier, I mentioned the Strong Foundation, Strong Ads webinar. That is super important. So if your product detail pages are not optimized, you're not giving yourself the best chance at converting to sales, which of course will increase your ACoS, right? So make sure that your product detail pages are healthy. That means they should have good titles, good descriptions, well-written bullet points, a healthy number of reviews, at least 5, and at least a 3.5 star rating, if not more. And for any ASINs that aren't healthy in terms of their detail pages, you might want to pause those and promote higher performing ASIN pages for you. Kind of similarly, the ROAS, or return on ad spend, is the inverse of the ACoS, right? So, a couple things we can try here if we want to increase our ROAS. Let me just wait for the screen to load. Cool, hopefully that's loaded for you guys. A couple of things we can try to increase our ROAS. Again, make sure your sponsored brands campaigns are driving to your store, and make sure that your store is updated and really looking sharp. Like, it will absolutely help the performance of your other campaigns that are linked to your store if your store looks spiffy. So make sure that your store is really up to date and really high quality. And then for any keywords and products that are performing well, similar situation here, increase the bids on those and make sure they're exact match. For any keywords or products that are performing poorly, decrease your bids, pause them, or add them as negative keywords if they're relevant. Again, make sure your product detail pages are healthy. Just like that's going to help lower your ACoS, that will help increase your ROAS. Cool. So a couple key points to remember when you're building your targeting strategically, a couple takeaways. Sweet. Start with your business objectives. If you take nothing else away from this session, I hope you take that. Super important to define. Can you all hear me okay? I'm seeing some freeze on my screen. I'm just gonna pause and make sure. Okay, cool. All right. Thanks for letting me know that you can at least sort of hear. We'll take that. So as I was saying, pardon me, start with your objectives. Make sure you've defined your goals really clearly and you're structuring your campaigns based on those goals. You want to create multiple campaigns. That's going to help you kind of test and learn new things, as well as cover your goals as effectively and efficiently as possible. Add all 3 match types for each of the keywords you're targeting. We've discussed this. Make sure that your product detail pages for your ASINs are healthy, i.e. audit your ASINs. Use negative keywords. This will lower your ACoS and increase your ROAS. And then make sure to measure and optimize. So what I would say for this last point, measure and optimize, keep coming to our webinar series. There's so much more in terms of optimization that we can deep dive in kind of other webinars. There's far too much to talk about every single optimization tactic in just 1 hour. But I think as a good starting point, 2 webinars I would recommend for you guys based off the back of today's session are A, that strong foundation, strong ads webinar that I've mentioned. It's really, really foundational in terms of your detail page health. And B, I would suggest coming to one of our reporting webinars. We have 2 reporting webinars on sponsored products and sponsored brands. That's really going to help you learn how to download your reports, how to understand them, and how to optimize based off those metrics and that analysis. So keep learning with us. Sweet. And I think just about right on time, we're getting into our Q&A. But super quick, the first thing that I'm going to do is launch one quiz question. I can see that my colleague Sophie, I believe, is on the line and she's answering questions individually in the chat box. Thanks so much for joining, Soph. That's really helpful. Hopefully between Sophie and I, we get through all of your questions, or almost all of them, in the next 20 minutes or so. But before we do that, I am going to launch a quiz question. So unlike poll questions, there is a right and wrong answer for this one. And the quiz question should be just jumping on your screens now. So which targeting methods are available for sponsored products? i.e., how can you target with your sponsored products campaigns? Everyone who's voted so far has gotten this right. Excellent news. And no worries if this is a confusing question. We didn't actually cover this in any detail in any of the slides. We kind of talked around this and talked about how you can use different campaigns with different targeting, et cetera, et cetera. So, no stress here, super not a big deal. But I will say that almost everyone's gotten this right, so that's really good to see. I'll give it like maybe 10 more seconds for you guys to get your votes in, and then we'll open the Q&A. Cool. A lot of questions today. Understandable, because there's a lot of you guys on the line with us. So Sophie and I, between the 2 of us, are going to try to zoom through as many as possible so that everyone gets a response, hopefully. But the other thing that I would say, if you want to go into any more detail, if you're confused about anything, and if we don't cover anything in enough depth, what I'd recommend is coming to our live chat, like office hours session tomorrow. So every Friday we run a 11 a.m. session. That's, we have no slides, we have no presentation. It's a whole hour that's all about your questions as advertisers, and you just put them in the question box and we just fire away at all the questions that we get. So I definitely recommend coming along to that if you're still confused about anything at the end of today. But speaking of not being confused, 88% of you guys got the right answer for this quiz question, which I'm extremely happy about. No, or actually 89, someone else just voted, so thanks, kind sir or madame. But I've had too much coffee today. But yeah, sorry, I was saying that no worries if this question was a little bit confusing. It's, we never get a question in our quiz section that's 100% right, so don't worry at all. But the right answer is, for a sponsored product campaign, you can use automatic targeting, and you can also choose manual keyword targeting as well as manual product targeting. So the right answer is option number 3. So automatic and manual keywords and products. Cool. Well done, everyone. Thank you for voting on that. It is Q&A time. All right. So let me just pull my Q&A box open. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. Oops. Not that. I'm just going to, some of these questions I can see would be better with a demo. So I'm just going to pull my advertising dashboard up for you guys so that we can demo a few of these. But I do also want to say that sometimes when I launch my Chrome or when I launch my internet browser, the audio quality gets degraded. So if that is happening at all, please put that in the question box, and we'll work around that. If it happens, maybe I'll turn my video off. but just for now, I'm going to go ahead and kind of do these demos, assuming that everyone can hear and see. Okay, cool. So let me start at the beginning. Okay, so one question that I can see is why cannot we promote branded keywords and generic keywords in a campaign together? Okay, no problem. So let me kind of explain why this, oh, pardon me. Let me explain why this is by going into an existing campaign. So let me just do like a quick demo here. So something that we really covered in this session was not to use branded keywords and generic keywords in the same campaign. And the reason is because when you're mixing your strategies like that, you're really confusing the targeting methods for the campaign itself, right? Your campaign won't perform as well if the targeting methods are confused. So let me try and elaborate there. I just want to make sure that you can all see my screen. I know my internet connection is being a little bit slow, so you know what, whatever, we're just going to talk ahead. So what I want to show you here is that in my campaign manager, you can see in some of these campaigns, I have my keyword strategy written into my campaign name, right? So it says SP manual generic, SP manual generic. And I'm sure if I scroll down, there'll be one that says SP manual branded. And the reason that we want to keep generic keywords and branded keywords in separate campaigns is because it confuses your targeting. So when you're targeting chocolate bar and Hershey's Kisses in the same campaign, you're reducing your chances of being shown to of your ad being shown to shoppers versus the chances of your ad being shown to shoppers if those were in two separate campaigns. And the reason is because different targeting strategies are going to result in different placements, different auctions. It's really, really important to just keep them super separate. So try not to mix your branded keywords and your generic keywords in the same campaign. It's just not the best strategy if you want to optimize. Of course, if for any reason you absolutely have to do this and for some reason the alternative is just not possible, you know, it's probably not going to be the end of the world, but we absolutely recommend keeping branded keywords and generic keywords in separate campaigns. Cool. So next question is, for branded keywords, do I only put my own brand keyword in the campaign, or do I put other brands' keywords in too? Yeah. So actually, you know what? This is easier to demonstrate with a slide. So let me just get my slide back up to show you. Yeah, cool. I think it's this slide. So for branded keywords, you can mix, you know, your own brand and other brands in one campaign, but we actually recommend, again, separating them out. So on your screens now, you'll see this slide that we walked through at the start of the presentation, where in one campaign, we're using our own branded keywords and ASINs, i.e. keywords that come from our brand and our product lines. And in a separate campaign, we're using other brands' keywords and ACEs. And that's because we've got different goals that we're trying to accomplish with each of those strategies. So the quick answer to this question is, I personally would recommend having branded keywords in that pertain to your brand in one campaign, and then branded keywords that pertain to another brand in another campaign. And that's because those are going to help you achieve a different set of goals, as per this slide. Cool. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. KDP keyword choice. ASIN versus book title, series title, author name, or use them all. Yep. So there's actually one thing that I want to say is, you know, I know that there's loads of KDP authors coming to these webinars, and our team is definitely working on more KDP specific stuff for you guys, more KDP specific materials. So just rest assured that we are passing that on and that we are taking that forward with our team. But that said, what you want to do is split out into product and keyword targeted campaigns, right? So this is just a complete example. Maybe what I would want to do if I was an author is just try out 4 different types of campaigns to start. So maybe I'd have one sponsored products automatic campaign to help me learn, right, to achieve the goal of learning which keywords to use. I might have one sponsored products manual keyword campaign where I target my own branded keywords, like my own books, my own author kind of titles or pseudonyms, that sort of thing, my own genres. I might want to have another campaign using manual keyword targeting where I target other brand or author keywords. So other brand genres, other brand titles, other brand author names, for example. And I might even want to have another, fourth campaign that's product targeting, right? Where I target either my own books in my category or in my, in my collection, or my competitors or other authors' books in a similar category. There's really no correct answer to this. The best way to find what works for you is to definitely go and try it. So I'd recommend setting up a bunch of different campaigns based on your goals as you've defined them, and then just see which campaigns are working for you and what strategies are working. You can optimize from there. Can you please demo how to target a whole campaign? Yeah, can I target campaigns only for product targeting, but also for manual keyword targeting? Yes, okay, I can do this. So I'm gonna go to my campaign manager. I'm gonna click create campaign. So let's first talk about a product targeting campaign, right, per your question. So I'm clicking create campaign. Let me just make sure everyone can hear fine. Okay, cool. Okay. Screen's just loading. So I'm going to choose sponsored products. And remember, I'm manually targeting in this case. So I'm going to choose manual targeting under targeting. Don't forget the basics. So give your campaign a name. So this is a manual targeting campaign. Let's say we're using generic keywords and we're selling protein powder. We're not going to set an end date, but we are going to set at least a £10 daily budget. We're going to start out with dynamic bids down only. And then in this ad group, we're going to organize like that. We're the product line in this case. So let's say that we're naming our ad group protein powder and we're adding the ASINs that we want to advertise here. Remember, an ad group is just a way of organizing products within a campaign. So I'm just going to add some random ones, but you'll know which products you want to advertise. So set up your ad group. And then under the targeting tab, here's how we're going to talk about your question, right? So can I target campaigns only for product targeting or also in manual keyword targeting? So when it comes to manual targeting for your sponsored products campaigns, you can target by keyword or by product, but you cannot target by both at the same time in one campaign. So if you want to set up a keyword campaign, if you want to target by keywords, no problem, set up one keyword campaign. And then if you also want to target by product, set up a second campaign where you select product targeting, as I'm demoing now, right? So you can't target keywords and products within the same campaign. You must have multiple campaigns in order to target keyword and products. But let's just walk through. So keyword targeting, you'll get a list of suggested keywords. Remember to add them in all 3 match types, and I'd recommend applying the suggested bid to start off with. My internet is really not being cooperative today, but we're just going to, okay, cool. So you should see now on your screen some keywords, some match types. I'm going to add all of these match types for this keyword in each of these suggested bids. Cool. And then remember, product targeting, I have to create a totally new campaign, can't do that at the same time. And I can target either an entire category with my product targeting campaign, which I can also refine here based on, for example, brand or price range, or I can target individual products too. And I can target individual products too. So you can target whole categories or individual products. You can target both together in a product targeting campaign, and you can refine them. And then of course you can use negative product targeting in your product targeting campaign and negative keyword targeting in your keyword targeting campaign. Cool. Let me scroll down. Sorry, what are placement bids? Okay, so this is a really important question. So I can see that you've asked, what are custom bid adjustments? Sorry, what are placement bids? So for the purposes of this kind of for advertising, custom bid adjustments and placement bids are actually the same thing. So let me demo that for you now. So once you've launched a campaign, right, you want to go into your campaign manager. And we're going to open up one of the campaigns that we want to adjust. Just gonna wait for it to load. Cool. And then in the campaign settings of the campaign that we've just opened up, this is where we can adjust bids by placement. So at the very bottom of the screen on your campaign settings tab, you'll be able to set placement bid adjustments for each of these placements. So let me just check my screen quickly because my laptop's blocking it. Cool. So you can choose to increase your bid by up to 900% to appear on the top of the search results or on a product detail page, or both, if you'd like to set custom bid adjustments or placement bid adjustments for both. Remember, that's going to increase your bids, so you will be increasing your ad spend, but it's going to increase the chances that you appear on one or both of these placements, which are performing really well for you. So you might have downloaded your placement report. You might have seen, oh, okay, top of search results is performing really well for me. My ads are doing really well when they appear there. That's how you'd want to do. That's how you'd want to look at your placement bid adjustments. Okay. So next question is, can you please further explain the audit about ASINs? Yes. So let me demo this for you. I'm going to pretend that I'm a shopper on Amazon.co.uk. And I'm going to pick a totally random product detail page, and we're going to audit that ASINs detail page together, right? Again, really to understand auditing ASIN detail pages, come to that Strong Foundation, Strong Ads webinar. That will help. That will help much better than I can discuss at this kind of like last few minutes of the session, but we'll go ahead and do this anyway. So hopefully you can see on your screens. I don't know why my internet is being so difficult today, but I'm just gonna wait for this to pop up on your screens, guys. Give me 1 second. Actually, you know what I'm gonna try? I'm just gonna turn my camera off very quickly. That might make the internet faster. So don't worry, Sophie and I are still here with you. I'm just gonna talk through this. So we're on this organic chickpea puff product ASIN detail page, right? And this is what I mean when I say audit. We'll do this together. Okay. So let's pretend this is my product that I'm advertising and that I'm selling. Okay. I would audit this and I would say, okay, I've only got one image here. First of all, a strong detail page has at least 4 images, which are really high quality. This image is not particularly high quality, so that's not great. I don't have any bullet points available on this page. That's not great because that's not informing shoppers as to why my product is going to help them. I don't have a product description. I don't have any ratings. I don't have any reviews, right? So that's what we are saying when we're saying audit your ASINs. This ASIN that we're advertising has a really, really weak detail page. And for that reason, what we want to do is make sure that we're optimizing our detail pages before we're advertising. And then there's one more question, which is what does placement mean? Again, I'm going to show you this on Amazon.com. So let's search for protein powder, or let's just pretend we're a shopper searching for protein powder. Okay, so this is one. Okay, so pardon me, a placement is just where your ad appears. It's that simple. A placement for your ad means where your ad is appearing on Amazon, right? So this Optimum Nutrition campaign is appearing at the top of the search results placement. It's being placed at the very top of the first page of the search results. So are these sponsored products campaigns. And then if I click through to one of these products, my placement is going to be on this product detail page, right? If my ad is appearing on this product detail page. So in terms of placements, it's basically just thinking about where your ad is appearing on Amazon. Cool. All right. How do you get your search term report? No problem. I can show you guys that in a live demo. So in your campaign manager, you want to go to this bar, these 3 bars in white on the left, under campaign, under reports. So you want to click reports, and you're going to click create report here. And then all you want to do is choose which campaign you want to generate the report for. So sponsored brands, video, display, or sponsored products. And then under report type, that's where you're going to select search term report. Or you might select placement report if you're trying to find out how your placements are performing. Or you might select your targeting report. There's lots of different reports that you can choose, and they'll also differ based on the campaign type. For example, there's a keyword report for sponsored brands campaigns, whereas it's the search term report for sponsored products. And really, to understand more about reporting, please do come to our reporting webinars. We have entire webinars dedicated to reports and understanding them and how to optimize based off them. It will really, really help you. So come along to our reporting webinar. But with that being said, you can name your report and you can have it emailed to you. So you can just put your email address in here, and you can either have it emailed to you right this second and you click now, or in the future, or you can have them scheduled to be delivered to you on a recurring basis. So you could say every week on a Thursday until February the 5th, I want my reports emailed to me. So that is how to download your search term report. Cool. A couple more questions, guys, and then we will get kind of to the, actually, we're a tiny little bit over time, but let me see if there's one more question that I can pull up on my screen. Yeah, I'm actually just thinking that my internet has been really slow today. So I can see your feedback that the screen is behind my voice. Sorry guys, here, let me come back on video actually. Let me just pop back in, say hello. Okay, so I am making do from work from home Wi-Fi, as you can all see. So apologies if the demo section was a little bit slow and a little bit like misaligned with my actual talking. The good news is I'll make sure, 2 bits of good news, which is I'll make sure that you guys get the recording from today. So you'll be able to, rewatch it and hopefully kind of like link up my voice to the demos. Otherwise, you'll definitely receive the slides. So in terms of the real like nitty gritty important parts from today, you'll be able to review those at any time. The other bit of good news, remember at 11 a.m. tomorrow, we have that live chat, office hours question seminar session thingy. Definitely come to that if you're still confused about anything. Hopefully my internet will be better for live demos. Otherwise, Sophie can take the live demos for us, and we'll be able to troubleshoot that tomorrow. But yeah, definitely encourage you all to come along to that. We love getting questions, so please do join. Just wanted to say super quick, there's going to be a survey that pops up on your screen when I close out of this webinar. It would be really super duper helpful if you guys could fill that out for us so that we can learn, as much from you guys as you're hopefully learning from these sessions. That would be really, really great. So Sophie and I would appreciate that. But cool. With that, I just want to say thank you so much for spending, your Thursday afternoon with me. I really appreciate all of your questions and all of your really kind feedback. And it feels really nice to see all your thank you comments in the Q&A box. So thank you all so much. And I hope you have an amazing rest of your week and weekend ahead of you guys. Take care, stay safe, and hopefully catch you in an upcoming session. Thanks, everybody. Bye.